So, it had been arranged that we would camp for the night in a private garden in Gethsemane on the edge of the city. And it was a nice place. Quiet, away from the crowds. And I thought, away from trouble. But the master wasn't right. He was very agitated, fearful even. There were a lot of concerned glances going around. I mean, look, we'd all seen him upset and frustrated and even angry before, but never afraid. And that bothered me. He said he wanted to go off and pray for a while, but he asked me and John and James to go with him just for an hour. He clearly didn't want to be left alone. So we went with him a little further into the garden, and he was just in a right state now. Crying and shaking and sweating. I mean, it was hard to watch. It was like he knew what was going to happen, and yet he was walking into it anyway, like a lamb to the bloody slaughter. He kept saying, "Father, is there some other way? Father, is there some other way?" Like all of this was a part of some kind of plan? It was hard to watch, actually. And it just went on and on. And the next thing I knew, he stood over me and he's shaking me by the arm. 1 hour, Peter. Was that too much to ask? I'd fallen asleep. We all had. And it was then that bastard traitor turned up, and he had the armed temple guard with him. And I knew what was happening. He walked over to the master, and he kissed him. I'd never felt so sick and so angry. So there was Judas and 9 or 10 guards, and I'm thinking, well, come on, I'll take the bloody lot of you. So I grabbed the knife that I used for gutting fish, and I start swinging for them, and I catch this Malchus on the side of the head, and it takes off a part of his ear, and the guards, they all grab at me, and I'm resisting them the best that I can. But then, the master, he comes over to me, and he's different now, more at peace, and he says to me, "Peter, drop the knife. You are no good with it anyway. Those that live by violence tend to die the same way." And he walked over and he picked up that severed bit of ear, put his hand on the side of Malchus's head, and he healed him. And this was one of the bastards that were out to get him? Look, I know what he used to teach. Love your enemies, pray for those that persecute you, do good by them that harm you, but that? That was unforgivable to me.
Questions to ponder. How difficult have you found it to deal with mistreatment with grace? Has it been more difficult to deal with when you've been let down by those close to you? What do you think makes it hard for us to forgive our enemies? Do you believe it's possible not only to forgive someone who's wronged you, but to go beyond that and do them good? Have you ever been inspired by a particular individual or situation in which true forgiveness has been modelled? What do you think the result of forgiveness might be on the one who forgives and the one who is forgiven? For more time reflecting on these questions to ponder, pause the video now. Prompts for prayer. Forgive us. Help us to see how our actions or inaction have pained you and others. Help us to say sorry and to receive and know your forgiveness. As we forgive others, help us to forgive those who have caused us pain, especially those close to us. For yours is the kingdom. Help us to move to love our enemies and to enlarge our circles of love. Pause the video now for a time of prayer.